Hello everybody, it's Juliet here. Today we're going to be making this a really fun galaxy inspired earring, which is made with some supplies from BB Craft. And if you didn't watch my unboxing, I will put a link to that down below so you can watch that video. And I'll go over the materials as well, and I'll put links to everything down below just as usual, in case you're interested in purchasing any of the items. And if you do go to bbcraft.com, remember to use the code JULES10 and you will get 10% off your order. Okay, so anyway, this is such a fun earring. So it's inspired by a galaxy and has little stars and, whatever, little planets. I don't know what those are. Anyway, I just think it's so cute and sparkly and fun. And it uses these really cute little cut metal stars. They're almost like kind of Jumprings without a hole in them. They're really, really cute. I love these. I'm very pleased with these. It's these. And like I said, I will put a link down below. But I just think they are so adorable. And the nice thing is, because they're cut on the front, you can't even really see where the thread is sewing them onto the base of the earring. So then the other thing that we're using is this little set of 3 different sew-on crystals, 3 different sizes. I'm using the big one for the middle, and I'm using the smallest ones for like 3 little stars, I guess, I don't know, planets, whatever they are. And then I'm also using these Toho seed beads from BB Craft, and the number is number 611, the Toho number, and these are 11.0. And I'll put a link to that, and you can get 2 different size packs. So I got the big pack, the 50 gram, but you wouldn't need that for the earrings, but I just wanted this is a color that I use a lot, so and the last thing I'm using from BB Craft is I'm using from a previous video where I did I'm using some of these earrings here, the littlest ones out of this pack of 3, and this was, I think, from the previous unboxing that I did, but and I just think that's really sweet because it looks like, when you're looking at the whole earring, it almost looks like there's another little planet up there, that kind of goes. Now the base of the earring is actually a Huichol stitch, which is a native indigenous tribe style of kind of netting, I guess. So they are from the south of the United States and northern Mexico area, and so usually you see flower earrings made with this stitch, and big 3-dimensional flowers and leaves, but the basis of it are these kind of squares that you can see here. But the nice thing about this is these circles that go around the outside, which I think gives it a kind of almost graph-like appearance. So it's almost like we've graphed space, if you can see through. It's almost like a spider web, and it's also a 6-pointed star. So anyway, this is a fun stitch to do, so I think you'll enjoy this project a lot. I've also got here some extra stars that I've attached teeny tiny little 3mm Jumprings, which, as you can see at the bottom here, I've actually put them through the Toho seed beads to attach the drops there. And then I used some bigger Jumprings with a star in between to attach my earring. And I am using today some Fireline in the 6-pound and in smoke. You're going to need quite a long piece. I am using probably 4.5 feet. So just get yourself a really long piece for several reasons. One is, in order to stiffen this up, you will need to kind of pass around a few times, but you'll also be going around in order to sew on all your toppings at the end. So you just want to have enough thread to be able to finish everything the way you like it. And there's no right or wrong for how you put your toppings on here. We do start with this one in the center and build around it, but other than that, everything is just free form. Hopefully that's not too intimidating for you. If you want to do the matching, you know, you can just look at where are they on this side, where are they on this side, but I'm not even going to worry about that. I don't think, as long as you have the same number of crystals and stars and 11O seed beads. I've got some gold 11O seed beads here. I think it'll look fine. You know, space is not symmetrical, so you don't have to make your earrings symmetrical, but if that really stresses you out, then you certainly can make them symmetrical, okay? All right, so also you will need a beading needle, and I have here a size 10, I believe. Yes, a size 10 beading needle. Okay, so we're going to begin by picking up our biggest little crystal in its setting here, and we're going to just go through the middle of the crystal. So we're just coming out from a hole, okay? And you're going to leave your normal standard 4 to 6 inch tail, okay? So then you're going to pick up 3 of your 11O seed beads, and you're going to, so I'm coming out this hole, I'm going to go into the one next to it and go all the way through in the crisscross direction, okay? And that is going to put our 3 little seed beads at the corner like this, okay? And then I'm going to repeat this. So I'm going to pick up 3. Okay, hang on, that one's a little skinny. Okay, pick up 3, and so I'm coming out here. So I'm just going to go back to where the last 3 were, and I'm going to go straight through the middle. Okay. And that's going to put on our next corner. I'm going to turn, pick up 3. I'm going to go straight through the middle again. I'm coming out here on the side, so I'm going up the bottom, okay? And then I have 1 more to do. So just turn it so that your thread's coming out the side, and then you'll know you have to go in the bottom. So 3 again, and I'm just going straight through the bottom. Okay. All right, so now we have 12 beads going around the outside. So we're going to just sew through all 12 to kind of connect them together. So just go around one full rotation all the way around, all through all of them, to just join them a little bit better. Now there will be a little bit of gappiness, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to be tight together, okay? So don't worry if it's not exactly perfect, but going around the outside will help to kind of pull them in a little bit. And then you can just exit from whichever one you want. It actually does not matter where you start, okay? Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up 5 of our seed beads, and this is kind of the basis for the Huichol stitch, is picking up 5. So I'm coming out this one right here. I'm going to skip the next bead, and then I'm going to sew into the next bead. And it's not going to matter if it's a corner bead or a side bead for this, because 2 of your sides and 2 of your corners will have 5 going over it, okay? So again, you're going to pick up 5. If I can pick them up. All right, so we've got 5. Again, I'm going to skip the next bead and I'm going to sew into the next bead. And we're just going to repeat this until we have 6 little lumps of 5, 6 going all the way around, okay? So like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a corner bead or a side bead as long as you're skipping the next one and going into the next one, okay? So keep going with 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm about to add my last 5, and I'm coming out here. So again, I just skip one and I go into the next one, which it will be the base of the very first group of 5 that you put on. Okay. And don't worry if it's a little bit wonky, if it's sitting a little weird. At this point, it will begin to form into a better shape as we go, okay? Now, so the next thing we're going to do, and this again is something that is you do with the Huichol stitch, which is forming the squares. So basically, if you look at this grouping right here of 5, we have 2 on the side here. We have 1 here, 1 here. So by putting 1 here and here, it's going to form a square. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build another 5 on the shoulders on here, okay? So we're going to pick up 5 again. Okay, so pick up your 5. You're coming out the second bead of the group of 5 here. So make sure that you do move up from that base bead, move up 2. You're going to go down the 1. This is the 5, so I'm skipping the 3rd one and I'm going into the 4th bead. Don't go into both beads, just go into just that 4th bead. Okay, so it's going to sit like this on top, okay? And I'm coming out from this group of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm coming out from bead number 4, okay? So now we're going to pick up 1 bead, and we're going to, on this group of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to go up into bead number 2. So you're going outwards, okay, towards the outer edge of your work. And then you're going to pick up 5 and you're going to go down bead number 4. So 5. So skip bead number 3 and go down bead number 4. Again, we're going to pick up 1 bead and we're going to go into bead number 2. And just make sure you're not getting yourself looped around anything there, okay? Then you're gonna, again, pick up 5, and you're going to go into bead number 4. So you're just going to continue like this. So you'll do 1 and go into bead number 2, pick up 5, go into bead number 4, pick up 1, go into bead number 2, 5, go into bead number 4, all the way around. And you can see here that it does start to kind of form a circular shape, that little row of 2 and 4 with the one in between, it'll start to form a circle, okay? So keep going. So here I am, I'm picking up 1, going to bead number 2, pick up 5, going to bead number 4. All right, so I'm gonna go almost to the end of this round, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're closing the gap. Okay, so I've got my 5 and I'm about to add my last 5 going into bead number 4 here. And then I just need to add my single bead, and I'm again going to go into bead number 2. So just count 1, 2, which is this bead, and then I'm going to continue up the next 2 beads as well to get to number 2 up here. So you have to go into the lower number 2 and then move forward through all 3 to get up to the upper number 2, okay, on this group of 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's how you step up. You go from the lower 2 into the upper 2. So this is what it looks like when the entire first round is finished. Okay. Hopefully you can see it. All right, so we're just going to continue on again. So again, we're going to be picking up 5. So every time we're building on our shoulder, we're going to be picking up 5 until the very last round. So again, I'm coming out number 2 of these 5, okay? And I'm going to skip number 3 and I'm going to go into number 4. Now here, I have a little bit further to go to get over to bead number 2 on this group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a little further to travel. So this time we're going to pick up 3 for in between. Okay, so go ahead and pick up 3 and then just jump straight over into that bead number 2. Okay, and that's going to just form a little bridge that goes across like this. Okay. So again, I'm going to pick up 5. And this is, you know, basically the same as what we're doing. Again, going into that bead number 4. So I'm just skipping over that middle point bead. And then instead of picking up 1 here, I'm picking up 3. That's the only difference. And then I'm going into that bead number 2 on the outer point, okay? And then again, I can pick up 5. I can go into bead number 4 here. So I'm just skipping over the middle point bead, and then I'm going to pick up 3 to move over into the next bead number 2 right here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep going and I'll come back when I'm joining my final join right here. Okay, so I've just added my last group of 5 on this spoke, and I'm back to where I'm going to join back over here. So what you have to look for here is start above where your 1 is. Okay, so there's the 1 from the last round, 1, 2. So that's number 2 on that lower down groupage, and then you're gonna again go up 3. Okay. So I'm moving from number 2 down here to number 2 up here. And then that is that round again completed. So for our final round, the magic number is 3. You're going to continue to pick up 3 beads. So what we're going to do here is on the top of this one, I'm coming out number 2, as you know. So we're just going to do the same thing. So we're going into bead number 4 right here, okay, on that group. It's just going to make a slightly smaller little bump over than what we had before. And then we're going to pick up 3 again. But instead of jumping all the way over here, we're going to jump into this middle bead right here of this group of 3. So you're just going to sew through that second bead down there, okay? And that is going to make a little kind of bump like this, okay? Then you're going to pick up 3 more beads. So you're coming out from here and you're going to go up into bead number 2 on the next arm, okay? So here we are. So you now have a little V shape in between, and then again pick up 3 for the point. Okay, so pick up 3 and coming out bead number 2, going into bead number 4. And we're just going to continue like this the whole way around. So you're going to again pick up 3, go into this middle bead, pick up 3, go into bead number 2, pick up 3, go over to bead number 4, pick up 3, go into this middle bead, 3 into bead number 2, 3, go over all the way around, okay? So I'm going to do that and then I will come back. Okay, so I'm nearly finished. I just need to add my last 3, and my last 3 will be going from this bridge into the original one of at the base of my 3 here. So that's my 3, so I just need to go into the kind of corner of that square to close that off, okay? So now we have a pretty kind of star shape, but as you can see from mine, it's a little bit warped and it's also quite floppy. So we need to address that issue, okay? So what you're going to do next is we're going to do a reinforcing round around the outside. So you're going to go up the first bead on the point, and then you're going to skip the next bead. Okay, so skip that point bead first of all, and that's going to make the point a little bit pointier. Okay, so make sure you just skip the point bead. Then here, you're going to go through, you're going to skip the one on the square right here, and you're going to go through these 3 beads on the little sideways bridge, okay? So go ahead and do that. And that's just going to kind of pull them outwards a little bit. Then we're going to skip, remember how originally we sewed into this bead down here, we're going to skip that bead and we're going to sew back up through the 3 on the little bridge there, okay? And then we're going to skip this corner bead here and we're just going to go up into the one right before the point, okay? And then we're going to again skip the point, go into the next bead, and then down those 3 on the bridge, okay? So this is our first round of reinforcing. We're going to do another round and it's going to be a little bit different. So just continue going all the way around, going up the 3 on the bridge, not going into the base bead here, okay? Skip the point on this square, just go up into that first bead before the point and then the bead after the point. And then skip that corner bead and go down through the 3 on the bridge. Go up the 3 on the bridge, skip that corner bead, and then go up that 1, okay? Sorry, my tail from underneath has decided it wants to join the party too. Okay, so just continue going all the way around, and if there's some loose bits in here, do not worry, it's all going to get tightened up when we are sewing on our embellishments. Okay, so I'll just go around and finish reinforcing the first round, and you can tell already that it is less warped down here than the edges up here, okay? So that's our first step to helping solidify it. Okay, so I'm nearly done, and the way I know that I'm nearly done is this point I can see is pulled in. So I started at this point, so I just have to finish doing my 2 bridges here. So if you're not sure, like, where did I start, you can tell because you started at a point which is going to be nice and pulled in, okay? So go ahead and get that first round of reinforcing all finished, okay? Which I'm nearly there. Okay, and then you can, when you finish that round, you can come out from the point. That's fine. All right, so for our next round of reinforcing, it's still a little bit crooked, okay? So for our next round of reinforcing, it's slightly different. So this time we are going to go down into the bead at the corner of the square here. Sorry. So you are going to go into this corner bead here that we skipped before, okay? Whoops. So go ahead, go down, and we're going to go over all the beads on the point as well. So we're going through all those, but we're going to skip on our bridge here. We're going to skip this second bead right here. Okay, so we're only going to go through the first and the third. And that is going to help make that bead poke out. So we go through the first bead and the third bead on that group of 3. And you'll see when you pull it, it kind of pops that one more into a square shape. You see how that one compared to this one is more of a square shape. So just make sure that your thread where you're skipping does go underneath the bead. You may need to take your needle and kind of pull the bead out in order to make sure that your thread goes in the right place, okay? So again, on this bridge, so I'm not going into this bottom bead again. I'm just going straight up into the first on that group of 3, and then I'm going into the third bead right here, okay? And again, I'm gonna pull and I'm gonna pop that middle bead outwards. You may need to kind of grab your needle and just make sure he's popped out a little bit. He doesn't have to stick completely out like this, but he should be a little bit out, okay? And then you can go through that corner and of the square that we skipped before. Go ahead and go through that and all the way over the top, including your point, because we just need to reinforce the point because it is going to be kind of knocking against things, okay? So go ahead and go through all 5 of those. And then here again, I'm just going to go through the first and the third. I'm going to pop him out like this, okay? So just go all the way around doing that. And you'll know when you get back because you'll notice that you have your little popped out pieces here. And these are important because this is what I attached. Now you don't have to do this. If you don't have little teeny tiny jump rings like this, I actually put teeny tiny jump rings through my bead here on the popped out ones, see here and here. But if you don't, you can just put them through that hole right there and hang your stars like that, okay? Anyway, okay, so I'm going to go ahead, reinforce again, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I just finished reinforcing that round, and now you can see that my piece is much more solid than it was. It's still a little bit floppy, but not half as much as it was, especially the outside. The flop is happening more on the inside. However, as we are sewing on our embellishments, that will also get fixed. So the nice thing about this is you do have these inner circles that you can travel around to get places. And we're going to utilize those circles in order to move around in our piece. You can also go up and down the spokes here of the points, okay? See how there's a complete line that runs all the way down, and then you have almost like a spider's web. So the first thing that I like to do is figure out where my little crystals are going to go. So on this one that I've already done, I put one on a spoke, kind of up here on, so it's, you know, in the middle of a spoke. I put one, see this big gap here? I don't know if you can see it from there. Okay, this big gap that's right here underneath where our bridge is, I put one in that gap there, okay? I put one on a spoke somewhere, and then I put one on another spoke, but much like closer in. So I put one kind of far away, and then I put one closer in like here, okay? I might not do it there, but anyway, so you can kind of move the things around. And then I put 2 stars, and I tried not to get them like exactly perfectly opposite each other so it doesn't look completely weird, okay? You want it to be a little bit random, you know, one further out, maybe one's a little bit further up on the thing, maybe, you know, you don't want them to be looking like eyes peering at you, you know. So see how this way it almost looks like 2 little eyes, but if I turn the earring so it's this way, then it doesn't. Okay, so you're gonna want to figure out like, where is my top? How do I want these to sit? And then once you've figured all that out, at the very end you can go in and say, I think it would be nice to have maybe a gold bead here, maybe a gold bead here, maybe one in here, you know, and you can figure out where your gold beads go. But first you want to figure out where your crystals go. All right, so I'm gonna put one on the end of a spoke. So where am I right now? I'm here. Okay, I'm kind of near the end of a spoke anyway, and I'm coming out from this corner bead. So I am going to move into the very next bead right here at the top. See this like line of beads right here? I'm coming out from there, okay? So you're just going to pick up your stone, and you're gonna go through the 4 holes. Instead of going straight through it, and going through diagonal, like at the corner there, okay? So go through a corner. So don't go through this way, go through diagonally. And let me see if I've done that the right way. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Because I want it to be that way, okay. So, all right, so I'm coming out here. So I'm just going to, if I'm coming out from this bead here, going this way, I'm going to sew into the bead right below it, going back the opposite direction, okay? And that is going to make it sit there. And then I'm going to sew through the other 2 diagonals here on the crystal, okay? And I'm going to sew back into that very first bead. Okay, so that is now attached and it is flat. I am going to reinforce it. So when you're reinforcing, you can either go a different way entirely. So for example, I could go through this way this time and then back through that same bead that I'm coming out of right now. So you're just going to find the best way to attach it on, okay? All right, so I feel like that is pretty good. All right, so my next one, I'm going to maybe attach it in this little groupage of beads right here, this bigger hole underneath where my 2 bridges collide. So I need to get over there. So I'm just going to follow my little spider's web. So I'm going to go down 2 beads here to get onto this ring. And then I'm going to move all the way around this ring. And this is reinforcing this ring as we go through it, which is a good idea. I would avoid sewing around the outside because your outside is pretty sewn at this point. So you're going to want to try and reinforce other areas. And I like cutting around my 2 central rings for this bit as much as possible. I feel like that really helps the piece just get a little bit more solid on the inner section so that it becomes, you shouldn't need to stiffen it because you will have sewn around it so many times, okay? All right, so here I am. I'm coming out at the join of where my 2 little outer bits are here on that group of 3. Okay, I'm coming out the 2nd bead. All right, so again I'm going to do the diagonal, so I'm going to sew through this direction, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sewing through the diagonal. Hold it the right way up and think about which way you're going, okay? And then I'm going to sew through this bead that's directly below. See this bead right here? That's directly below the bead where I am. That's the bead that I'm going to sew into. And then I'm going to sew again through the 2 holes on the diagonal. I just find it easier to sew through on the diagonal. If you find an easier way that works for you, that's fine. And again, there's no right or wrong here. You just want to get the beads attached on as well as you can, okay? So that is attached there, and now my last one, I think I might put it, I don't like to put them directly opposite each other. I just think it looks a little funny. Yeah, I think I might put it here. Or do I want to put it like up here maybe? Yeah, I'm going to put it up here on this spoke for this one, I think. So I'll need to work my way over there. And again, I'm just going to work around the circle and I'll attach that on the same way I did on this one that is on the spoke. So I will get that attached and then I'll come back. Okay, so I just attached my 3rd crystal on, and I'm now going to look at the star placement, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to put them something like this. And I think that'll be the top, and maybe that won't be the top. Yeah, I'll do it this way, and that way it's a little bit with the 2 stars kind of facing inwards. Okay, so that'll be the top. So when you're sewing on your star, again, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you're going to want to attach 3 of the points because that will give it a nice solid connection. So just look at where, like, what bead could I come out from here, maybe that one, and then once you have it attached, look at where could I attach again, and then where can I attach again. And once you've done that, same thing again, you're just going to find a spot. So if you look very carefully at this, you may be able to actually see the thread. So I came out from this bead here, picked up a bead, I sewed into the bead above, I sewed back through. So I just circled around, same thing here. I came out the top of this bead, I went into the bottom of this bead, came out the top of this bead, went in. So it's easy to attach those ones on and fill it in. Once you've done that, you can put your jump ring in, your earring, and the rest of your jump rings, and that's really it. So it's just kind of free form sewing on to the front and tying off your threads, and that's it. So there's kind of, like I said, no right or wrong to this. So I'll get my 2nd earring finished up now. I'm not going to make you watch me sewing on the stars. I think you guys can handle that, okay? So I'll be back in a minute and show you the finished product. Okay, so as you can see, I finished my 2 earrings. I love how these turned out, and I think they're super cute. And I have a couple just last minute tips for you if you are making these. So when I'm sewing on the stars, I don't skip a bead. I come out one bead and I literally go into the next bead. So I come out, I go through my star either in or out, and then I go straight into the next bead. So that's what I do when I'm sewing on my stars. And the other thing is, if you feel like the middle is loose, once you've sewn everything on the front, push your thread through to the back, and then you can reinforce the rings on the back without getting caught on all the stuff on the front. And you can also see what you're doing a little bit better. So when I was finishing, I kind of went around this inner, like this first ring here, not the very central one, but and then I came down into this ring and I met up with my tail and I tied them together, and then I just sewed the 2 ends off in different directions. So my earring is actually, it's pretty solid, like it's, you know, it doesn't feel floppy. So it is going to hold its shape just fine, I think. But anyway, I think they're really fun little earrings. I hope you try them, and do remember, if you do go to BB Craft to get these little stars or the little crystals, to use the code Jules10. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!